On October 22, 1962, United States President John F. Kennedy notified Americans of the installation of nuclear-armed Soviet missiles in Cuba. The president made it clear he would encircle Cuba in a naval blockade and use military force to neutralize the Soviet threat. People are living during a time when there's a very real possibility of mutually assured destruction between the world's superpowers. With the United States having dropped atomic weapons at the end of World War II, it was clear that the looming conflict with the Russians could catapult the world into the nightmare of nuclear war. From the deadly serious to the comedically dark and ridiculous, novels and film offer a place to explore individual ideology and resolutions by ultimatum. Failsafe by Eugene Burdick and Harvey Wheeler was published just after the Cuban Missile Crisis. The novel was made into a 1964 movie of the same name. Failsafe toys with the idea of what would happen should a military engagement launch as a result of an uncircumventable error. The storyline centers on a UFO rapidly heading towards the U.S. Through established procedure, Vindicator bomber squadrons are scrambled towards the line of no return, the failsafe points. When the object is identified and the order to stand down is given, one of the squadrons continues on to Russia. Its mission is to drop a nuclear bomb on Moscow. Groteshell is a civilian advisor. He knows no one can survive a nuclear exchange, so he believes in scenarios with minimal loss. As events continue to evolve over time, he comes to the conclusion that Russians can be trusted to reach a compromise. Cassio has spent his military career in espionage. He believes the electronic automated system is foolproof and is convinced the Russians are trying to trick the US. When the order is given to share intel with the Russians, he forcibly takes charge and is removed from command. Lieutenant Colonel Grady is the pilot and commander of a Vindicator bomber squadron. He follows the failsafe protocol and, having not reached a positive check in time, goes into radio silence. He bombs Moscow, justifying the Russians have already nuked the US. Brigadier General Black is a career Air Force. He is quiet, reliable, has integrity, and is dedicated to the service. Quote, "Who needs more muscle now? Neither side, when we both have the capacity to overkill after surviving a first strike, is just silly." The president is called when the big room realizes the Russians will have to launch a retaliatory strike on the US. He ultimately enters a quid pro quo and orders Black to personally fly a plane to drop a bomb on New York City as a resolution for nuclear destruction of Moscow. Peter Buck is a translator with no military expertise or political ambition. He's exposed to the irrational logic of an arms race and how protocols and automation are insufficient to keep people safe from the nuclear holocaust. Dr. Strangelove is a 1964 Stanley Kubrick dark satire political comedy where civilian experts and career military do more to contribute to nuclear crisis through sheer stupidity, blindness, and insanity than solve it.
Mr. President, about 35 minutes ago, General Jack Ripper, the commanding general of Burleson Air Force Base, issued an order for the planes to attack their targets inside Russia. The aircraft will begin penetrating Russian radar cover within 25 minutes.
The brigadier goes crazy and sends B-52 bombers to nuke the Soviets. He believes the Soviets are adding fluoride to the water to control the minds of people and must be stopped at all costs. He also shoots himself so he can't reveal the codes. Kubrick shows how crazy it is to put an unhinged person in charge of so much power.
I can no longer sit back and allow communist infiltration, communist indoctrination, communist subversion, and the international communist conspiracy to sap and impurify all of our precious bodily fluids.
As his name implies, he has a strange sort of love. He loves the idea of nuking Russians. He loves the idea of living in deep mines after the missiles launch. He loves the idea of a 10-to-1 female-to-male ratio and getting busy at repopulating the Earth.
Also, when they go down into the mine, everyone will still be alive. There will be no shocking memories. And the prevailing motion will be one of nostalgia for those left behind, combined with a spirit of bold curiosity for the adventure ahead.
Captain Mandrake is a British officer. He's reserved and decent, like Black in the Marvel Failsafe. And like Black, he wants to do the right thing and save humanity from doom. What makes us laugh about the character is how he continues to remain polite and self-controlled in a situation that is both absurd and out of control.
Colonel Ripper, sir, as an officer in Her Majesty's Air Force, it is my clear duty, under the present circumstances, to issue the recall code upon my own authority and bring back the wing. You'll probably excuse me, sir. I'm afraid, sir, I must ask you for the key and the recall code. Have you got them handy, sir?
This is a man that's hungry for war. Like Cassio and Failsafe, he doesn't trust the Russians. Destruction excites him. This is how Stanley Kubrick shows the absurd level the arms race can bring humanity to.
Mr. President, I'm not saying we wouldn't get our hair mussed, but I do say no more than 10 to 20 million killed, tops, depending on the breaks.
Kong is, like Grady and Failsafe, a good soldier. He follows protocol once everything is confirmed and carries out the order despite great odds. In any other situation, you'd have to be rooting for him, except he's about to launch annihilation of all life on Earth. This is another coup by Kubrick. Here's a good man about to do great evil because he believes a lie he has been told. Muffley is like the President in Failsafe. He is looking for a solution to the madness. Stanley Kubrick uses his character in the film to remind the audience how serious the situation is in both fiction and in reality.
Well, I'll tell you what he did. He ordered his planes to attack your country.
In Failsafe, we have Peter to represent the US citizens. In Kubrick's movie, we have Alexei to represent the Soviet citizens. There's an additional twist to the story because the ambassador is also a spy. This character represents everything that drives the communist paranoia in the USA.
But the deciding factor was when we learned that your country was working along similar lines, and we were afraid of a doomsday gap.
This is preposterous. I've never approved of anything like that.
Our source was the New York Times.
Russia has sent out a warning to the US-led coalition in Syria that it will view all aircraft as targets after a Syrian fighter was downed. The coalition attacked the Su-22 after it launched a strike on US-backed rebels in Raqqa province. Moscow said that it would no longer cooperate with the US in order to prevent air accidents. The Russian Defense Ministry said any aircraft, including planes and drones belonging to the international coalition operating west of the Euphrates River, will be tracked by Russian anti-aircraft forces in the sky and on the ground and treated as targets. Syria has condemned the shooting down, saying it was a flagrant attack with dangerous repercussions. Washington claimed the Su-22 had dropped bombs on Syrian Defense Force positions, and according to the rules of engagement, it was immediately shot down. It added that it did not wish to provoke Russia or pro-regime forces, but it would defend its coalition partners.